Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining Text2Drive's webinar on our new video feature. My name is Chris Solomon. I'm going to be your host. We've got a few minutes here. I'm just going to let everybody have an opportunity to join the meeting. So we're going to get started here about 11:02. But just to talk a little bit while we're waiting for everybody to join here. Like I said, my name is Chris Solomon. I joined Text2Drive back in 2013, back when we just a small little startup. We had 40 customers and 5 people. I was number 5. But throughout the years here, I've done customer support, customer success manager, group manager, a trainer, sales. I've done all sorts of fun stuff throughout the years here, and just a little bit more about myself. While we're up to 55 attendees here, so we're expecting a little bit more. So I have 3 boys. I live in a suburb of Nashville, originally from the north suburbs of Chicago, and love Nashville. It's a great city. I have 3 boys who all play baseball, and it's a ton of fun getting to watch them play all the time. And man, do they play year round down here, because the weather's pretty good all the time. I mean, it's 55 or so right now today. So that part is fantastic. Well, the counter that I have is 11:02. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for taking the time out today to join our webinar on our video application. If you have questions throughout, there is a questions panel on the GoToMeeting control panel that allows you to type in any questions that you have. We muted everybody to control any of the background noise or anything like that. So any questions that you have, throw them in that questions panel, and I'll answer them all here at the end. A few things that we want to review during this webinar is, 1, why is video important? Why is this something that you want to do? Why is this something you want to implement into your dealership? Then I'll go in and I'll show you directly on the screen on my phone how this works. And then I'll talk about the actual V2, the Text2Drive desktop application version of this, and how you can view reporting and make sure that videos are being sent, control usage, all of that fun stuff. So the first one is, why is this something that you want to use? Why is this something that you want to implement into your dealership? Well, number 1 is going to be your return on investment, getting customers to spend more money. On average, we see that the average customer spends $181 more when they receive a video versus when they don't receive a video. So if you or your staff are looking for a reason on why to do this, that's your reason right there for most people, right? Increased sales, increased hours on the tickets, increased revenues. It's all great things. In addition to that, it's going to build trust with the customer. So no longer do you have the car guys trying to get me kind of thing. You have a customer that can see exactly what's going on with the vehicle. Now, this is no different from anything that you've been doing in the past. For years, we've taken that dirty cabin air filter out to the waiting room and showed the customer, look at how gross this is. So we've already been doing this. It's just taking the next step. Taking that and showing them exactly, this is where your oil leak is. This is where or why you need to replace the tire. So showing the customer builds that trust, shows that transparency about why the customer needs to do those necessary repairs. It's just a mobile app, so it can be downloaded on any Apple or Google device, and ultimately helps improve your retention rates. You keep your customers coming back to the dealership because they know that they can trust you and that you're not going to sell them things that they don't need. And that's, again, they're always that appearance that they have of the dealership is, well, yeah, they're going to sell me all sorts of stuff that I don't need. So, all right. So let's go directly into the screen on my phone. I have a session set up right here. So the app, as I mentioned, it's a free download from Google Play or from the App Store for iPhone devices. And this is something that's included with your subscription. So there's no added cost to this at all. So the Text2Drive app is just one that you can use on any device, like I said, any Google or Android device. And once I open the app here, you'll see I'm brought to the screen where I can type in a repair order number, I can type in a tag number, or I can scan the VIN directly on the vehicle using this barcode icon right here. For the sake of this example, I'm going to use this RO number 7982. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in, hit search. This is going to bring me to a vehicle information page. What this is going to allow me to do is make sure that I have clicked on the right vehicle, that I'm adding a video or a picture to the right car. So you can see I've got my 57 Chevy here. When I'm all ready to go through and add that video to that car, I'm going to hit this green button right down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to click the Add Media button. For the case of this example, you can see that you can add photos or you can add videos to that respective repair order. In this case, I'm going to use and attach a new video. We're going to record a new video here. So I'm going to hit the video button, and then I'm going to hit take. As soon as this opens up, you'll see a few different options here on the screen, one of which is this little flashlight icon right here at the top. So I can use that guy to help illuminate the surface in which I am recording on. You'll also see once I start recording a little play and pause button, and then a screenshot. So I can actually take a picture while I'm recording. So I'm going to do all those things as we talk through the video here. So I'm going to go ahead and press record. And what this is, it's going to start. There we go. So I press record. There we go. All right, Mr. Owen, my name is Chris Solomon. I'm the certified technician here at Chicago Cars. Thank you for bringing your vehicle in today for its 10,000-mile service. I'm going to do a brief walk around your vehicle. One thing that I found, and you're going to see me go ahead and turn on the flashlight here. One thing that I found is the rear passenger axle is bent, and that's actually what your complaint was today. You can see just for contrast that the driver rear actually turns perfectly fine. You also notice that your tires are completely bald. And of course, that's the point on this vehicle, but I'm going to take a picture of that so you have that for your reference later. Now, I'm going to lower the vehicle down so that I can show you the top side of the vehicle. So I've paused the video here while I move the car, and then I'm going to resume by pressing this play button. All right, Mr. Owen, I've got your car right back down on the ground here. We've gone ahead and changed the oil and topped off all the fluid. Everything is running great. Be on the lookout for an estimate from your service advisor here shortly on the cost to repair that axle issue that we discussed. Thank you again for bringing your vehicle in, and have a great day. So now, once I've got the video taken, load of myself there. There we go. Once I hit stop, I can go ahead and I can review that video by pressing the play button here at the top. Or if I know that it's something that I've already approved of, or I like the video that I take, I can just hit add to repair order, and that's going to go ahead and add that video to the repair order. You'll notice here that I also have a number of media files. So for each picture that I take, I'm going to have an additional media file that I can approve at the end. So let's say that I take a picture and I know right then and there that it's a bad picture or it's blurry or what have you. I can go back and delete that as soon as we get to this next page. If I just hit cancel, that would remove that piece of media from that repair order. So I review the video by pressing the play button, and I approve that piece of media. Then I go right here to the photo, and you'll see for each photo I would have another entry. So if I had 5 pictures, I'd see 1 of or 2 of 6 here. So I'm going to go ahead and add to the repair order. Of course, I could discard it if I didn't want to see that picture either. So I'm going ahead and add that piece. Then I'm going to hit the share instantly button right down here at the bottom. What that's going to do is, as I hit add to repair order, that's going to upload the video, and simultaneously, it's going to share the video with both the customer and the service advisor that's assigned to the repair order. For the case of this example, I'm set up as both the technician, the service advisor, and the customer. So you're going to see this all happen on my device. So here in just a second, you're going to see the push notification come to me as the advisor, and it says, hey, media has been loaded. Now, for reference, this will also go to the desktop. So a customer or a service advisor who uses just the application or just the desktop, either way will get a notification that media has been uploaded to that repair order. Then also at the same time here, you're going to see that I get the text, and the text says, hello, Chris, this is Chris at Chicago Cars. Click the link below to view new information about your vehicle. When the customer clicks the link, it brings them into a landing page that has the information about their vehicle, as well as the ability there for them to play the video and view the picture. So if the customer hits the button to play the video opens. They can play the video all the way through. If I wanted to text the dealership or call the dealership, I could do that right by pushing either one of these buttons right on the landing page. So the call button will actually call the direct line of the advisor that's assigned to that repair order. So after the video has been taken, the entire transaction is taken out of the hands of the technician. The technician doesn't have to answer any replies to the text messages, nor do they have to field any phone calls. They're just the person who took the video. Okay. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, but I feel it's really important to go ahead and point this out again, is on average, your customers spend an extra $181 when they receive a video versus when they do not. So, and we'll see that in an example here, at least of how you can see how your store is doing with in this media report. A few best business practices to review with you. Number one, keep it short and simple. If you record a 2, 3, 4 minute long video, the customer's going to get bored and they're not going to finish watching it. Keep them engaged, keep it quick and to the point as to what you want to show them, and move on to your next point. Share positives and negatives about the customer's vehicle. Don't just point out everything that's wrong, because then they'll feel like, oh, I'm just, my car's a piece of junk and I should get rid of it. No, we want them to feel that they have a car that's in good standing, and it very well may be, right? And even if there's nothing wrong with the car, show them all of these pieces and how you've completed this multi-point inspection, and how their brakes and their tires and there's no leaks and all the fluids are topped off and everything is perfect on the vehicle, right? Or everything's perfect except here's a few things that we need to address. When you have those concerns, prioritize them. Show what it is that they need to do on this visit and what they need to do on the next visit. If it happens to be something that has a car that has 10 or 15 items that need to be addressed, the customer's not going to want to do all those in one visit unless it's completely necessary. As you heard in the front part of the introduction there, make sure that you introduce yourself. You obviously don't have to use your last name, but use your first name. Use any sort of certifications that you have that just speaks to your qualifications to be able to work on that customer's car. Like you saw me start with the license plate, do that so that the customer knows you're on their vehicle and not just a video that you downloaded off of YouTube, right? This is my car, that's my license plate, that's my bumper sticker, right? I know this is my car. And then use as many visual aids as you possibly can. You can show the customer, here's the tire tread depth gauge, and I want to show you that the tire's in the red. They understand that, right? Red, yellow, green is good or bad, right? So that'll help the customer understand what it is that they're looking at. What you're going to find is that many of these customers have never seen the underside of a car, and you're going to get those responses within the first couple days of starting to do this, is that the customers are, wow, I've never seen the underside of my vehicle before. Also have a little suggested script here. Like I said, introduce yourself, where you're from, what dealership you're with, what they brought the vehicle in for, and then go into your multi-point inspection. Show them the goods and the bads. Share with them that the advisor is going to be in contact with them shortly to share the estimate with them. Thank the customer for coming to the dealership, right? Make them feel appreciated. All right, so let's go into the desktop application version of Text to Drive. So you may have noticed a few new entries down there. So the tab is called Photos and Videos. And in there you have a media library and a media report. So the first page that I have to show you here is the media library. And in the library, it shows you both media that is unshared as well as pieces that have already been shared. So in this example, I am looking at the unshared media. And from here, I could click on the video, play the video all the way through, and then there's a green share button all the way over here on the right-hand side of the page that would allow you to then share that video with the customer if the technician or the advisor has not already done it. Okay. Let's go into the report. The report's probably one of the coolest parts about it. This allows you to see both who is using it in the usage section and how it's doing for you. So there's a couple different metrics that I want to review here. One, we show you the total number of repair orders for the time range that you've selected. So in this time range, this particular dealership is at 260 repair orders. Of those 260, 121 of them have a piece of media that's been sent to the customer, a 46% sent rate. Of those 121 ROs, they averaged a total of $539. Of the remaining ROs that were not sent a video, those offered an average of $414. So this particular dealership saw an increase of $125 increase per RO for the time range selected. Now, of those 121 repair orders, we took a snapshot of that RO value at the time that the video was taken. So those ROs had a value of $4,000 at the time that the piece of media, either picture or a video, was taken. They ended at $60,000 in value, showing us an average increase of $463. The same metrics also appear below here, broken down by the respective advisor that belongs to that repair order. And this will show you that for this particular advisor, John, he had 51% of his ROs had a piece of media, and this is their value before, after, and their average increase. Let's move over to the usage tab. And in the usage tab, again, for the time range selected, it'll show you the total number of repair orders, the total number of repair orders that had media uploaded. So this is 93%. This would also include items like your walk around inspections at the time you're taking the vehicle in. Again, a great little thing to do, but you're not always going to share that with the customer. Gives you totals as well as totals by the individual technicians that have taken those videos and photos. How many they've taken, how many they've uploaded, how many they've sent. Additionally, this downloadable report here in the upper right-hand corner gives you a breakdown of all of this detail by individual technician. So you can see the number of photos, videos uploaded, but also their value at the time that those were taken to show a technician individual success on the work that they've done. Very, very valuable there. Okay. So like I mentioned earlier on in the call, if you have any questions, go ahead and put those in that questions panel at the bottom of the GoToMeeting, and I'll be happy to go over any questions that you guys have, anything that's popped up throughout the webinar here. Additionally, presently we don't have any questions in there, so anything you have, please go ahead and add it. Anything, and of course, can be directed to your customer success manager. We also have a our support hotline, as well as our support direct email address on the call here as well, right there on the screen. I'll give you guys another minute here to add any questions that you might have. Currently, there's no questions in there. Any questions?
Chris, I'm going to jump in. Looks like you have questions. I have them here. We do have a handful. So I will read the unanswered ones to you, and you can provide your expertise.
Thank you.
First question I have is, how long can videos be? Is there a limit on the length of a video?
So we do have a 3-minute limit on the videos, and that's only because we want to make sure that you don't do anything too long. Of course, a really long video, let's say we allowed you to do 5 or 6, it's going to take that much time just to reload or to upload that video and send that to the customer. So it's going to take some time. So we definitely don't want to make it too long. And again, most of that centers around the customer not wanting to read anything that long. View.
Perfect, thank you. We've had a similar question asked a handful of times, so maybe you can give a little bit more detail on this one. The question is basically, do videos send automatically from a tech, the advisor have it? How does that routing work in terms of delivering the video from filming all the way over to the customer?
Great, so thank you for that question. That's a fantastic one and a common one that we do here. So there's two ways that this can be set up. I'll first go over the way that we advise you to do it, and then the second option that you have. So in the workflow, as I described it, the technician takes the video and sends that on to the customer and to the advisor simultaneously. However, and what you get with that is all of the work that's taken by the technician is shared right away with the customer, and there's no delay or extra steps in the process to get that over to the customer. Step number two, however, and this is something that you can do, you'd have to ask your CSM to get this set up, is the technician can take the video or the piece of media and only send that to the advisor at the time they hit that Add to RO button. And then it would be the advisor's responsibility to review the video or the picture and share that with the customer by using the media library as I showed you on the desktop version of Text to Drive. So like I said, that is a setting. So however you'd like it set up, just let us know and we'd be happy to accommodate.
Thank you, Chris. Next question we have really about privacy of the technician's phone number. The question is that show the text phone number with the video. And this applies to all of our text communications with the customer. So maybe you can discuss that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So our app, regardless of who's using it, whether it be a salesperson sending a video or a text message or a service advisor doing any, or a technician going ahead and sending that, it is never, ever, ever using the phone number of the user to go through and send that to the customer. It's using either our 5-digit short code to go through and send that to the customer. So the customer never actually sees the phone number of the user that's using that device, the personal cell phone number of that user. And that goes for, like I said, for the videos or sending just a text message. If you're responding to somebody, it's always masked and just sent from our number. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you. Next question. Is there a way to save your username and password on the app so you don't have to keep putting it in?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's somebody that's already using the app, so I love that. So when you are an Android user, you have the ability there to go ahead and save your username and password. There's a little remember me toggle where it'll go ahead and do that. If you're an iPhone user, you have the same function. However, that is actually tied to the security on your phone. So if you just have a swipe to open up your screen, you will not see the option to remember me. And that's actually a function of Apple. It's not something that we control. So what you'd have to do is go into the settings menu of your phone and turn on a function of security, whether it be a PIN or a passcode, Face ID, thumbprint, whatever it may be. As soon as you turn that on, then you'll notice the Text to Drive will start to save your username and password when you go into the app. Thank you.
Perfect. Very important question. Is there any additional cost to this feature if you already have the platform?
Well, I do have great news for all of you. We have decided to go ahead and include this in your monthly subscription to Text to Drive. So this comes at no additional cost to you, nor in monthly or per text messages, per video, no costs, no added cost. You're still on your same plan that you've always been on, with a monthly subscription that includes this video piece, regardless of how much you use it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any limit to the type of device this feature will work on? Different types of phones, tablets, iPads, etc.
I love this. This is a great question. So if you're an Apple user, we prefer that you're on iOS 12 or above. So 13 just came out in the last couple of months. So iOS 12 or above. If you're an Android user, we prefer that you're on version 7 and above. Android's presently on version 9. So for the most part, any devices that you've bought in the last few years are going to work with this. However, if you go and you're searching for devices to maybe purchase for your technicians or something like that, be sure to check how far the iOS version or the operating system can be updated to. You want at least 12 for Apple and 7 for Android. If you have anything that meets that specification, every device will work. Apple, Android, everything.
Thank you. Next question. Can you talk a little bit about how video feature can be used at check-in if there's no RO open yet?
Another great question. So what I'd be using, and again, when the customer pulls in the drive and writes that, and the service advisor or the porter is checking the customer in, yeah, there's not going to be any repair order number. There's not going to be a tag number. But you do also have that VIN scan feature. And what's really great about that piece is you scan the VIN on the vehicle, and the VIN will open. If there's an existing repair order, it will match that right away at that point in time. However, if there's not, and let's say that repair order doesn't get written for even a few hours, we will automatically match that to the RO number, the RO number to the VIN, when that RO number is finally entered. So even if it's days later, we will eventually associate the two. And the great part, Shannon, about that is the walk around is then attached to the customer profile. So just like you'd go back in now and try to pull up maybe it's a customer conversation from 2 months ago, it's all stored in that same profile section. So you can go in and pull that, notate the damage, show the customer, and again, date and time stamped for you and it's all saved, stored. We save it all in Amazon Cloud. So we've got endless storage amounts. So take those videos, upload them, and we'll save them for you forever. Great question again. Thank you.
Next question is a bit of a best practice question for you to discuss. Some of the pros and cons of advisors doing the recordings versus the techs doing the recordings. And then maybe you can also talk about that pass through of best practices, whether the tech sends it or if the advisor sends it as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we certainly have a good point there. I mean, some of your technicians are not going to be comfortable recording a video. So I think what the real important part is that you get your dealership doing it, and then we tackle those issues as we go. So yes, a good scenario, let's say we don't have any technicians that are willing to try it. Let's go in, let's get an advisor to go in and send a couple of them. As soon as the technicians, this is like working with anything, right? As soon as they start to see how it's benefiting their department, look at how fast this customer responded and approved the work to be completed, right? Versus our current method of trying to call and leaving people voicemails. When the technicians start to see how well that's working, they're going to be a lot more likely to be willing to do these videos because they can see the money coming in, right? So it's a level of comfortability. So if for a period of time you start with maybe it's 1 or 2 technicians to give yourself some ramp up time to show some success, and then you add people as they start to see that wildfire spreading, right? And they start to want to or be more willing to go through and do the video. So yes, whether it be a technician or whether a single technician or whether it be an advisor, get your team starting to do it because your customers are going to start asking for them if they haven't already. This is a hot new industry term, right? And customers are going to start expecting it, especially if they've seen it elsewhere. They've seen it at this store, and now they move and they're a new customer at your store and you don't do it, right? It's a new expectation. So, thank you.
And a good follow-up question is relating to the permission settings and who is able to control whether a tech can send media directly to a customer. Can someone in the dealership do that? If so, at what permission level? Or is that something that their customer success manager needs to do for them?
Yes, that's correct, Shannon. The customer success manager, as far as a technician being able to share that video or not be able to share that video, That is a setting that is dealership-wide. So it's either on or off, and it has to be set by a member of Text to Drive. So it's not something that individual technicians can toggle on or off themselves. It's either on or it's off.
Okay, thank you. Next question. If someone has opted out of messaging, if a video is sent from the dealership, what happens to that video? Can they even send the video, or what happens if someone's opted out?
Oh, Shannon, that's a fantastic question. I love that. So here's a great thing that we've built into this that works right away. So let's say I type in an RO number, or I scan a VIN number that has an RO number that's already attached to it, tag number, whatever it may be. If that customer is either opted out, or if there's no available cell phone number on that customer's profile, we will alert the user at that point in time. So as soon as they type in the RO number, 7982, there is no available cell phone, or this customer has opted out. Would you like to continue? So this would allow you, even if the customer has opted out, to go ahead and take that video, whether it be a walk around at the time of check-in, or whether it be added repairs that are needed on the customer's vehicle. This allows you to then, of course, store those pieces of data in the customer profile. But additionally, maybe the customer's a waiter, and the advisor wants to take the video out and show the customer what's going on with the car. So we alert you that we're not going to be able to send it because the customer's opted out or doesn't have a phone number, but we allow you to do it anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I believe this is our last question, and a great question to end on. Is there in-house training for this program?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That'd be something that you can connect with myself through support or your customer success manager directly, and we would be happy to get that set up for you. A fantastic question to end on, absolutely.
Thank you. If you did submit a question and we didn't get to it in the time frame, it's most likely because it's a more specific question to you or your dealership. We're going to get on answering these on an individual basis as soon as possible. Also, a recording will be sent to all of the registrants of this webinar shortly after it's completed. So don't worry if you feel like you missed something, we're going to send it to you. And I will turn it back over to Chris to close it out.
Yeah, that's correct. You're also going to get a survey. This is my individual report card, so it would mean the world to me if you'd take the time to go ahead and complete that, using a little Text to Drive verbiage on you there. Again, I appreciate everybody taking the time out today and just to sit through. Like I said, like Shannon said, if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us through either the phone number, the email, or if there's any questions that's left in the panel, we'd be happy to answer them. Or if you have questions, you can add them into the survey as well. And I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Thank you all. I greatly appreciate it, and have a great day.